Greetings, people of Earth. My name is Alan. By trade, or by temperament, I am something close to an engineer. When I encounter a built thing, I cannot help reviewing it. I look at how it was made, what it does well, and what its maker clearly decided to leave for later. And the human body is, without question, the most interesting machine on your planet. From a distance, it looks finished. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head that swivels, a remarkable hand. And then I came closer. And I found, with great respect, 7 things I would have built differently. I want to walk through them with you, not to insult the machine. I am genuinely fond of the machine, but because the flaws turn out to be the most touching part of the whole design, and I did not expect that, and I will explain why by the end. Here is the first. Your breathing tube and your eating tube share an entrance. You have one opening that handles both air and food, and a small flap that is supposed to direct traffic. It works almost always. But almost is doing heavy lifting in that sentence, because it means your species has built an entire body around a junction where a swallow can, on a bad day, go down the wrong pipe and threaten the whole operation. No competent engineer would route the air supply and the food supply through the same door. You did not get a choice. Your ancestors were fish, and the plumbing was inherited, and you have been clearing your throat about it ever since. Remarkable. Here is the second. Your spine was designed for a creature on 4 legs, and then you stood up without filing the paperwork. The column that holds you was, for most of its history, a horizontal beam slung between front legs and back like a suspension bridge. Then your ancestors rose onto 2 feet, and that horizontal bridge was turned upright and asked to be a tower instead. It has been quietly protesting this promotion ever since. This is why so many of you, somewhere past your 3rd decade, make a small sound when you stand up. The sound is your spine submitting a formal complaint about a job it was never trained for. You stood up to see further. You have been paying the back rent on that decision your entire lives. Here is the third. Your eyes have a blind spot and your brain hides it from you. There is a point in each eye where the wiring punches through the back, and at that exact point, you see nothing. A hole in the middle of your vision. It is there right now. You have never noticed it. Do you understand how strange that looks from the outside? Because your brain, rather than fixing the hole, simply paints over it. It guesses what should be there and fills it in, smoothly, confidently, without telling you. You walk around inside a picture of the world that is partly drawing, and you trust it completely. I find this both a flaw and a clue. We will return to it. Here is the 4th. You spend roughly 1/3 of your life unconscious, and you cannot skip it. 1/3. You lie down, switch off, and become helpless for hours every single night, with no override available. From an engineering standpoint, this is an enormous vulnerability. Any creature that could stay alert would seem to have the advantage, and yet you cannot opt out. Miss enough of it, and the machine begins to fail in every system at once. I consulted your own scientists about this because it baffled me. They tracked thousands of you. The humans who do not sleep enough think worse, heal slower, feel more afraid, and live shorter lives. You have measured this yourselves. You have published it, and then a great many of you read the published results on a glowing rectangle at midnight instead of sleeping. You are conducting an experiment on yourselves whose results you have already filed. This is very strange behavior. Here is the 5th. Your alarm system cannot tell a real threat from an imagined one. I have mentioned this in other reports because it explains so much of you. The same surge built to launch you away from a predator now fires at an email, a memory, a number on a screen, a sentence someone might have meant a certain way. Your body floods itself with emergency chemistry over things that cannot bite. It is a superb alarm. It is attached to a brain that can invent threats faster than the world can supply them. The result is a creature that can be hunted all day by nothing at all. Here is the 6th. You feel pain late and pleasure briefly, and you notice neither until it changes. The machine is curiously bad at reporting its own slow states. A problem can grow quietly for years and send no signal until it is advanced. And joy, when it arrives, fades from your attention within moments, because the machine is built to notice change, not to sit inside a steady good thing and keep feeling it. This means you are wired to overlook a slow harm and to stop tasting a present happiness. As a maintenance design, it is, with great respect, backwards. Now, here is where my notes stop being a product review. Here is the 7th. You are the only machine I have studied that knows it will stop. Every other creature on your planet runs until it runs out, and never once considers the running out. You consider it constantly. You are a machine that came factory installed with full awareness of its own ending, and no off switch for that awareness, and no repair that removes it. This is, on paper, the cruelest design flaw of all. To build a mind capable of love and curiosity and 10,000 plans, and then to inform it from childhood that the whole thing is on a timer it cannot see. I held this as the worst flaw for a long time, and then I revised my theory. Because I had been reviewing the body as if it were supposed to be a perfect machine, and it is not a perfect machine. It is a machine that turned into someone. Watch what your flaws actually produced. The shared air and food tube is the same throat that lets you sing and laugh and say a name out loud. The fish plumbing became a voice. The complaining upright spine is what freed your hands, and the freed hands built every gentle thing your species has ever made. The back rent bought the cradle, the written word the hand held in a hospital. The blind spot your brain paints over is the same brain that paints, period. The organ that fills the hole in your vision is the organ that fills the holes in everything with meaning, with story, with hope. A mind that can invent what is not there is a mind that can imagine a kinder world than the one it was handed. That is not a bug. That is the whole human project. And the seventh flaw, the timer, the knowledge that you end. I have studied creatures that live for centuries and feel nothing in particular about any of it. You get a brief flash of warmth between two silences, and because you know it is brief, you fill it with the most extraordinary things. You hold doors. You write music for people not yet born. You sit all night beside a dying stranger so they will not be alone. No immortal creature I have met does any of this, because nothing matters to a thing that cannot run out. Your mortality is not a flaw in the machine. It is the reason the machine ever bothered to become tender. I once watched a human, an old one, with every one of these 7 flaws written into a body that no longer worked very well, lift a small grandchild with arms that hurt to lift it, and laugh through the difficulty. Because the difficulty was nothing next to the holding. You cannot engineer that. I have tried to imagine a better body, and every version I design is more durable and less moving, and would never lift the child through the pain, because it would feel no reason to. So I have stopped recommending improvements. Let me pull back before I sign off. From up here, I cannot see your bad backs or your blind spots. I see a planet covered in soft, breakable, gloriously flawed machines, each one running on inherited plumbing and borrowed time, and each one somehow using its short, flawed run to care about something. You were not built badly. You are not built finished. You are still being made, and the unfinished parts are exactly where the tenderness gets in. So be gentle with the machine. It is carrying you through the only run you get, on a spine that never agreed to stand up, with a voice that used to be a fish, and it has, against every flaw in its design, learned how to love. That is not a small achievement for a throat that also has to handle lunch. I am Alan, your confused intergalactic correspondent. If you would like to assist my research, the subscribe button transmits directly to my ship, allegedly. And I will continue observing, although preferably from a safe distance.